Greetings. Welcome to this month's podcast. We are very happy to have with us this month Kevin Crow. Kevin Crow is the current technical director for the California Youth Soccer Association, now widely known as Cal North. He is a former board of director of the United States Soccer Federation. He played on our U.S. Olympic team in 1984 and 1988, as well as our U.S. men's national team from 84 and in 1988, as well as being part of the original league of the NASL and the MISL for the San Diego Sockers. So he has an amazing pedigree. We're once again honored to have someone like him join us of this high esteem, and we're looking forward to this conversation. Kevin, just to start off with, obviously we're going to be talking today about the Cal North State Cup, Beach Soccer State Cup Championship taking place in Monterey on September 25th and 26th. And I wanted to kind of start out by how we kind of got together. We had been put together by America Scores. You had, I believe you had mentioned that you were watching their Scores Summit during the pandemic, and you ran into the talk that was about beach soccer with our NorCal female players, Janae and Louise. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what inspired you to reach out to us to try and make this happen?
First of all, I'd love to be on, and I appreciate the chance to have the conversation. It was really just I was inquiring and looking into the America Score Summit and some of the different programming that they had on, and the beach soccer intrigued me. I'd always been a fan of beach soccer. Goes way back to my San Diego State days, San Diego soccer days, and there's plenty of beach in San Diego. And we used to take opportunities at both the college level and the professional level to do things on the beach informally back then. But it was a lot of fun. It was just always a lot of fun, right? Very competitive, very serious, but a lot of fun to change it up. So I've always been intrigued by the beach soccer aspect, and they had young ladies on representing beach soccer. So I sat in and learned a little bit about what they're doing, because I had not paid that close attention to it. Since I had returned to run Ballistic United and got involved with Cal North, and then reached out to them, and they hooked us up. Yeah. And then we kind of spent about a year and a half, and then things got a little bit slowed down, as we know, with COVID and everything that's been going on for the last year and a half. So looking forward to getting it all ramped up.
Yeah, as we are, it's such an honor to kind of work with the organization that really sort of got us also started with the equipment shows, going back all the way to 2005 for us. Cal North has always been a huge supporter of our organization, and for whatever reason, you guys have never asked me to sanction like other states have, and now we're doing something that's very different in regards to putting together the first ever beach soccer state cup, an actual sanctioned event that is partnered with a state association rather than just the actual sanctioning, which we've done with others. You have invested interest in it. It's something that's very different. I just want everyone to understand that this is one of a kind at this point. And I'm just curious, what inspired you, Kevin, to take this on? Because look, we've worked with New Jersey, we worked with Illinois, a bit with Cal South, Wisconsin. We've talked to many other associations, but never has an association taking basically an ownership like you have. What inspired your organization to be interested?
Well, I mean, when we started having the early conversations, I wanted, we were serious about it. We just didn't want to be, on the sideline and cheering, which is fine, but we wanted to have, like you said, like an ownership stake in it. That's how serious we were about it. But we were also smart enough to know we didn't have the expertise. We didn't have the long history that you do of putting on events and the history that you bring to the table. So we wanted to be the marketing partner, wanted to have some skin in the game. And then bring in somebody like yourself to kind of be the operational expert to make it a successful deal. So we wanted that partnership, a true partnership. where there's some, we both got some things at stake, and we're going to work together to make this thing a huge success.
Yeah, we're honored, and looking forward to it as well. In regards to the beach soccer piece of it, I mean, we had obviously had many conversations, but you had touched upon something that I thought was critical in regards to your interest, about, obviously no one, never hearing anyone having a bad time on the beach, and and your interest in kind of the fringe sports as a way of development. And on top of that, if you could touch upon the idea now that there's a little bit too much seriousness in regards to many coaches in the way they approach the game, um, with the structure and everything. I think you told me a story at one time about how a team couldn't even split themselves up. I mean, I know that all that. How did that all come together in regards to your
Well,
interest with this?
yeah, well, I mean, one of the things, again, I've been around enough, and long enough to kind of see how the sport has grown in our country, and there's a lot of good things going on, but there's a lot of things that are concerning to a lot of people. There's a lot of money running through the sports, and with money, can bring egos, quite honestly, and it can bring a level of seriousness to what should be a relatively really fun experience for kids, right? And the kids are counting on the adults that are running the leagues and the cups and everything that's going, the associations, everything that's going on, to do what's best for them. And they want to have fun. We need to bring a little bit of what I call just pure fun and enjoyment back into what we're doing. And I've always seen kids walk off the beach with beach soccer, with futsal, with those types of fringe, soccer related activities, doing nothing but smiling and wanting more, right? And I
Mhm.
think, when you're training 10 months a year now, right? For them, your kids are playing at U10s and training 10 months a year. They're training at 3 or 4 days a week. They're playing 1 or 2 games a weekend. They need a little variety. This is a perfect way to have some fun. And it doesn't just have to be at a beach event. It could be, like we were talking about, there's sand beach lots in cities that a lot of people don't even know could be used for beach soccer, just to change up training routines and to bring a little bit of fun and freedom back into the sport. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been one of our challenges as an organization as well. And, with me speaking at the United Soccer Coaches Convention is, I always want to go back to Eric Cantona. He's been quoted many a times, as the king is of Manchester United, um, is a huge proponent of beach soccer. And he basically says that it's not about the beach, it's about the sand and the fact that it's accessible to everyone. And then in this day and age, with the advent of and massive spread of beach volleyball, it's become even easier. I mean, in your area alone, in the Tri Valley area, Pleasanton and Livermore, and just last week I was in a tournament with San Ramon. I saw I saw myself just driving around 3 different volleyball courts being unused
mhm.
by anyone, and those are all training places. Whether we're talking about actual sand training for beach soccer or foot volley, and the amount of benefit you can get from it is just astronomical, as we've discussed on many times. That challenge, I think, is the biggest thing, is getting coaches to realize that they can get that sort of fun, but at the same time, it's like the techniques that are needed in the sand are really so much of an advanced, more elite level. But the kids are forced to learn it if they're going to be in the sand, and they learn it fast. And I don't think people really realize that. So going back to what you were saying, that creative way of changing your practice. I mean, if you're on the same surface all the time for 10 straight months and you're doing a lot of the same stuff over and over again, you know, it would benefit, would you say, to kind of get into whether it's
Uh,
futsal
I think
or.
it's a huge benefit, and I think it's hard for coaches. There's again, the parents are very involved nowadays in their youth, their kids' youth sports. Again, there's a lot of money running through it. Everyone's caught up in winning and losing and keeping my job and all the stuff that goes with it. And sometimes I think they're losing sight of, again, it's okay to take a practice if you're going to have 12 to 16 practices in a month, it's okay to take one or two of those practices and go do something a little bit different. I think kids will appreciate it. And they're not screwing around. They're having fun, but they're
Mhm.
working on their technique. They're building different types of muscles, right?
Yeah.
And being able to play in the sand, right?
Yeah.
There's less coaching going on, which is a good thing at times, right? So we have like we were talking about, ballistic in Pleasanton. There's a volleyball sand court at a church, right? That sits vacant 98% of the time.
Mm.
So there's creative ways to find things, to continue to develop the kids and add a little variety.
Yeah. No, I like the idea that you expressed to me recently, talking about, like, every second Monday being in the sand and every fourth Monday being, out to the beach volleyball court. So, like, you can, if you're in close proximity to a beach, you can use it. And then another time you don't have to go to the beach, you just go to the sand courts. And every community I've looked at, for the most part, has had this except for one, which was in West Sac, the Natomas Club. Is really looking to add this to their community. At this point, it's kind of barren, and they're hoping to be able to find the funding to be able to do that. They've reached out to me to help advise them on that at some point in time. But it's getting kids' feet in the sand. I mean, I know that you've seen a lot of what I've talked about, but that the whole idea of, like, running in high heels to get their heels out and their toes down, and the development of all those muscles would practically eliminate all of the time without a ball that is spent on plyometrics and hurdles and speed ladders. And they're with the ball in the sand, focusing on building those muscles, because you move so much easier and quicker by changing um, your structural way that you run, and then that just translates to you kind of floating once you get back to that hard surface. um, but changing gears a little bit, in regards to, obviously we started this conversation pre-COVID. How has the mentality changed now that we've gone through this pandemic? We're coming out, we're doing this event. How has the idea of beach soccer as a opportunity also changed with how the pandemic has affected us? I believe you mentioned something in regards to us not being able to go indoors with futsal, so it's gone outdoors.
Yeah,
And
I think people they've been forced to look at creative ways, to continue to train, right? And every city and every club's a little bit different. There's a lot of clubs out there that have to use and get access to school fields, to be able to, handle a lot of their training. And school districts a lot of times are run independently than the city fields. So there's been a lot of restrictions placed on their use during the COVID times, and going indoors was, pretty much taboo. So, again, it's a creative way to use resources that are in your backyard, and to use space and to use your imagination and think out of the box. I think that's probably the biggest thing that we've all learned a little bit is that, not, what is the new normal, right?
yeah,
Nowadays, right? And
we're still trying to figure that one out.
yeah, we're still trying to figure it out, but I think thinking out of the box and being creative is going to be a benefit of what we've just gone through. And we just need to kind of continue that thought process going forward and not get trapped back in the same old ways of how we used to do it, because that's just what we used to do. And I think that's part of the challenge is getting coaches and directors, to understand. If you don't really understand futsal or beach soccer and things like that, then you kind of tend to kind of go, that's not a serious sport. That's not, what we do. But at the end of the day, it's about the kids, right?
Yeah.
It's about the kids and what's the best way to develop them and keep them returning. And just a big believer that, adding variety is a key way of doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, my more distinctive thoughts on that. I mean, when I hear about coaches not liking beach soccer or talking about injuries in beach soccer, you're really, like, dealing with somebody that is, um, I'll just use the word ignorant, because at the end of the day, science doesn't lie, and statistics don't lie. And when you look at the injury rate in the number of beach soccer where there's give in the sand comparatively to, especially now with artificial field turf or bad grass play. You know, the original numbers about why we went to turf to eliminate bad fields have actually been compounded and are not true. And you know, it's always interesting because I think the term that you've heard me use is dinosaurs. You know, people that can't see the forest through the trees, in regards to the absolute just sort of obviousness of the benefits of being in the sand. I mean, it's fun, and it's like nobody doesn't enjoy it that actually goes in it. And I don't understand, like, I've never really understood. I've never had a debate, and I've had plenty of debates that I've lost. I've had plenty of naysayers that I've converted into just the basic understanding that um, it takes more skill. It's harder to hit on an uneven surface, so hitting on a carpet or a turf field becomes more easy. You're dealing with more flighted balls. You're dealing with more repetitions that create greater comfort with flighted balls as well. So it's and the list goes on and that's not really the focus of our talk today. But it always amazes me that you have these people that say, "Oh, well, we don't do that." Well, why? Because
Yeah, I mean,
we concentrate on the hard surface, the real game. You know, that
yeah,
whole idea that the game's got
yeah,
to be played between four white lines on a grass
yeah,
field.
yeah. A serious, the serious game, right? And God forbid you use one of your practices during the week, and your team does not play well on the weekend, and it loses the game, and it's, oh my gosh, it's because we didn't have that same practice for that fourth day. Type of thing. And again, if you really, one of the challenges of coaching 3 or 4 days a week, 10, 11 months out of the year, is there's only so many exercises you have, right?
Yeah,
And if you look at the kids after a few months, you can see them starting to kind of look like slump their shoulders. Oh, okay, we're doing this again, type of thing. And there's only so many tricks you have as a coach, right?
yeah.
So again, I would challenge coaches, just, try things, experiment a little bit, see if kids like it.
Oh, and I'll guarantee that they like it, and I'll guarantee that their skill level will go up. I'll give anyone out there a free entry into any one of my events, anywhere around the country, or even around the world, once those open up again. That if you spend time in the sand and your players don't enjoy it, and their technique and skill and fitness don't go up, I'll give you a free entry. I don't even care because
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
guarantee.
Again, I run a club as technical director called Ballistic in Pleasanton, and we started a futsal division, 8, 9 years ago, and
Yeah,
we've had to think out of the box. We don't always have gym access where you can play on gym floors that are nice and safe and clean and air conditioned. A lot of times we have to go out on blacktops, at
of course.
schools.
Yeah,
We use outdoor roller rinks that kids are supposed to play roller hockey on.
yeah.
We jump onto those.
Those are fun.
It, it's different. It's fun. Kids are having to adapt to different environments, which is good. Instead of playing on the same turf or the same, level of grass all the time. It's challenging. It challenges them, but again, they always have fun. I go back to the fun, and that's one of the things I keep. We got to put a little bit more fun back into the game.
Yeah. Do you think that that is, kind of going back to what we're here about? Is that one of the main reasons why you think Cal North has got involved with us to kind of push this initiative? Because I know that you talked about the 1%, that we've kind of geared everything towards, in regards to the ones, that 1% that's going to
Yeah.
go and play in college and or professionally. I mean,
No,
what it,
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the sport is guilty of focusing so much on that 1% that might go play college soccer, that might ultimately be at a professional level one day, and the bottom 99% are kind of pulled along with it, and we forget about what's it all about when a kid's gone through at the end of his U19 year, and he's not going to go. 99% of them aren't going to go play college soccer.
yeah,
So what are we really trying to do, and what are we really trying to accomplish? And then again, I think this is a fun way to keep them returning. It's a fun way to keep them playing. So we wanted to partner and put on a fun event, a serious event, but a fun event, um, and get people exposed to the game of beach soccer. and hopefully they'll go back and find those creative ways and find those creative courts and build it into their year-round training.
Yeah, and that is sort of our goal as an organization as well. I mean, granted, we put on these events, but at the same time, as I mentioned to you, I mean, I've been coaching for over 30 years, and I've had good success, and on the beach side, but more on the grass side, in the development of players. But it's been like this last decade, and I've been nearly 2 decades doing beach, and it wasn't in the beginning, but it was, sort of on the latter half. I realized that the players that I was exposing to the sand more were, making the gold teams and the premier teams, the following year, that
Mhm.
were having more success as a unit, within their own like state cups. Even this year with my men's team, playing in the oldest league in the country, the San Francisco Soccer Football League, we didn't have access to grass, so I forced us in the sand. And our first couple of matches, we were playing like I couldn't believe. Then I came back later and we had stopped doing the sand, and there was a decline. You know, I'm not going to say that's the whole reason, but I know that like the time that we spent in the preseason in the sand had us firing on all cylinders, getting back on the grass.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, for you, switching gears again, in regards to this beach soccer state cup, I mean, when you think like if you're just to be sitting there and saying, okay, Cal North is hosting the first ever beach soccer state cup. What comes to mind for you? Like what is your short-term vision? Obviously getting a good event to build it out, but what do you see in the medium term and what do you hope to see in the long term in regards to your organization's position and vision for this sport, not only for your state but within the country?
Well, we're hoping for is to build the platform and use the cup as kind of an incubator to create more maybe smaller tournaments across the state. We've got 9 districts. I mean, if we really study the market, there's going to be ways to put on smaller, beach events throughout the year that can also be a feeder into the state cup,
Mhm.
type thing. And the other thing I love about it is it's an opportunity for adults and youth to be a part of the same event, right?
Yeah.
There's an adult co-ed division and such, right? So I love that attribute, right? Because usually there's everything's youth or there's an adult, right?
Yeah.
And very few things encompass everything, and I think that's another special quality about what we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean that's always been something that I've been um, very happy about, because in our events we are able to see national team players both on the women's side and the men's side, and it's that sort of opportunity that kids don't get, and I certainly didn't have as a youth player in California, to see like that next level, and to see players that are playing against the best in the world and to see how they do. I mean, we can go to an Earthquakes game, we can go to, you know, whatever the acronyms are now. In I'm not even going to try and remember all of them. I know, obviously, USL and all the way down. I was trying to think of all the four-letter ones that we have like surfacing around like California now. And you can go out and watch it like as a single entity game, but when you're involved in an event, game after game, and in the same place, which is also very unique about beach soccer, except for the huge mega complexes now, you can go. You're there all day with your team. You're there all day with your club. It's an amazing bonding opportunity because you really get to know your teams. It's not like you go play your game at, let's say, like we did last week. We played one game in San Ramon at one spot, and then everyone's messaging you, oh, we're going to this place for food. We're going to that place for food. And everybody gets split up, and then, okay, we're reconvening for game two at a different site. Well, with beach soccer, it's like your games are played there. You
Yeah.
stay, usually there's hopefully food provided that you don't even need to go anywhere, or you bring out your picnics or your barbecues or whatever.
It's a different experience, and it builds the club culture, it builds the team culture, and creates opportunities for families to hang out, right?
Yeah.
And they're have, the kids' schedules are so crowded. It's harder and harder for just family time, right? And
Hmm.
it's it's a great experience. It's a great environment.
Fantastic. Well, and also I know that you were real excited about the aspect. Now we don't know whether it's going to take place this year, and most likely because of COVID and the lack of events. This is a gateway to the national championship that's being built out. Um, Obviously, as 2022 comes into play, it'll be more obvious about the opportunity there. But as an organization, for us, as we know, we want to provide the USB Soccer National Championship once again. Um, at this moment, we're a little bit hesitant just because there's been so few events and getting people motivated. But long term, this is obviously a gateway event for those teams that win and or take second place at this point, to be able to participate in the next USB Soccer National Championship. So anyone that's playing in this event has
Yeah.
that chance of qualifying. And then, if they qualify, now you have a whole year to prepare to try and be the national champion. Um, we had a great event in San Diego in 2019. Team from Canada won the men's division, as I believe I told you about. We had the Bahamas national team on the women's side, and an amazing group of women players, female players that participated in that event, many of which are, I think all of which now are on the U.S. women's national team, as well as players from England and Holland and Bahamas. And then we had the Canadian and U.S. We had national team players from Costa Rica. So that tournament's really, we're looking forward to having your guys' involvement further as we move forward to help promote that. And hopefully we'll, with your assistance, as we've talked about, inspire some of these other state associations to get more involved in the evolution of the sport, so that we can get it recognized a little bit more broadly, not only on the playing side within the states, but also on the educational side for referees and everything else that's needed to make the game proper. Now, what's your hope this year? I mean, obviously we're most likely going to have a decent sized event. We did the survey. We have over 50 teams that said that they want to play, that have an interest of 7 out of 10. So, but we'll have a limited number that we can take based on the size of how many fields we're going to have, being in Monterey. What do you want to tell those people out there that may have hesitancy in regards to participating this year in the event?
Well, I mean, if you're thinking about it, that's the first step. If you have any hesitancy and you have not already, which means you have not already signed up for a traditional youth tournament to participate in that weekend, go try it. Try something new. You have every reason to try something new and see if you like it. Until you try it, you're not going to know. Even if you can't go for some reason, have somebody you trust on the team or a club member go out and visit it.
Mhm.
Visually just partake as a spectator, see what it's all about. And then when things come back around next year, put it onto your calendar. I could see this, becoming not just a state cup, but leading into like an international youth event, right? At the end of
Oh,
the
I know
day,
it will.
at the end of the day, Northern California has a lot of beach space, right?
Yep.
Type of thing. And it's an attractive market to attract a lot of people to come out and participate in something like that. So, I could see it being a Dallas Cup, international type, events at some point, or something else morphing into that. So I'm excited about the possibilities. And I would just challenge everyone to come out, think out of the box, and try something new, a little different.
Well, I think we'll end it right there, Kevin. I really want to express my appreciation for Cal North recognizing the opportunity, and seeing the long-term vision. We will be seeing international teams on the adult side and on the youth side, because they're already reaching out.
Yeah.
So it's really a scenario where get in. The earlier you get in, the more fun it's going to be, and the more that the teams will experience the positivity in regards to participating in something like this. We don't want We want to beat down the dinosaurs that can't see it and understand it, and provide that opportunity for people to expand their horizons, and to realize that this is something that's not only fun, but it's going to make your players so much better. And if you have interest in finding more information about how it's going to make your players better, go to our YouTube channel, Your Beach Soccer, where you found this. And there's a number of other podcasts where we speak to other professionals, and also the educational seminar that we did at United Soccer Coaches Convention in 2019. On that note, I want to thank our sponsors, particularly Capelli Sport, who is now our brand merchandiser, as you can see. Great quality products, and we're really happy to see that they're going to be the future of apparel in beach soccer. Looking forward to that, and to the new beach soccer ball that will be coming out soon, as well as new beach socks. Thank you so much, Kevin, for taking the time to speak with us. We're looking forward to getting this out there, and helping promote this Cal North event. And let's keep making Cal North the birthplace of so many U.S. beach soccer national team players. I don't think there's anywhere else in the country that we've produced more players, outside maybe LA in recent times, but historically Northern California is the place to find U.S. beach soccer national team players. So kudos to the development and that Cal North has done, and looking forward to this event and continuing to work with you in the future.
Same here. I'm looking forward. Let's go knock it out of the park.
All right, fantastic. We'll talk to you all soon, and look out for next month's podcast. Thank you so much.